Hello, aloha, my name is David Kitamori. Just here today to talk a little bit about all the different things that I've learned over the years, a little bit about my teachers and their ike that I want to share with everybody. So my journey started when I met Kuila Clark, Kahu Kuila Clark. Unfortunately, he just passed away recently, but I think timing-wise, it's good that I'm here to share his knowledge with you guys, just a little bit. So everything I'm going to talk about today is, comes from my teachers and their teachers and so on. So it's nothing original, but it just, want to share. So one of the greatest gifts Kuila would say given to the people of Hawaii was the gift of aloha. Aloha can be defined in many terms, but he'd always break it down into two words: alo, coming face to face, and ha, which is the breath of the Creator, the very breath that is our existence. So that's why when people here meet now, traditionally the greeting is a honi. It's interesting though, because here in Hawaii, people tend to just touch foreheads and take a breath in. But Kuila would say that, that's just a sharing of mana'o. What you want to do is share spirit, share breath, so it's actually the touching of nose. And when you meet Maori people, it's always nose, forehead and nose. So, that'd be the honi. So you touch forehead and nose, take a deep breath in, and share in the spirit, in the creation. Yeah. But along that lines, we were given another gift in Auntie Pilahi Paki's Behaviors of Aloha. And being that, Aloha Inspiration Foundation is Auntie's work, which by the way I think it's actually state law now. The people at the Zen Temple, Chozenji Zen Temple, helped her to get that rectified, I think, with the state. But just a little bit of breakdown of it for you folks. So it's just an acronym of the word aloha. The first A is akahai, meaning kindness as expressed with tenderness. This deals a lot with compassion. And along the lines of compassion is being non-judgmental. When we become judgmental of things, and especially of each other, compassion usually tends to get thrown by the wayside. The L is lokahi, meaning harmony as expressed with unity. It's important here, Kuila always pointed out that Auntie uses the word harmony, not peace. Peace infers the absence of conflict, but there's conflict all around us. You just look to nature, the wind in the trees, the ocean crashing against the shoreline, and conflict is okay. So it's how you deal with that conflict that will bring about harmony, which then in turn creates that unity that we're all searching for. And how you deal with that is actually, he always would say, is through honor and respect. The O is olu olu, meaning agreeable as expressed with pleasantness. Now, agreeable doesn't mean we need to say yes to everything everybody tells us, but it just means that we need to be both teacher and student. So being capable of expressing an opinion, but staying open enough to also listen to other opinions coming in to us. The H is ha'aha'a, meaning humility as expressed with modesty. This one is pretty straightforward. Basically, be humble. Know that you did not get to where you are today without the help of many people along the way. The last A is ahonui, meaning patience as expressed in perseverance. Patience and perseverance. Not too much to explain there. Basically, more important in a long life, right? Patience and perseverance. But that being said, it's the basis of a lot of the different healings that I've learned to do with Kuila, whether it's cleansing pikai ceremony for people or a place or a family. It doesn't matter. It always is, the root of it stems from aloha. We would go out and do aloha lectures actually all over the state for different companies and whatnot. So, but today I think Nandi wanted me to talk a little bit about ho'oponopono. So there's many different types of ho'oponopono, and with Kuila, you know, it was more traditional. So there was, you know, it's usually led by a haku. So the haku is, I mean, Ho'oponopono traditionally was in the family, but you know, in these days, you know, business, friends, whatever, you know, whatever it is that needs some kind of coming together, or where the pilikia got so bad that there was separation within the group. Ho'oponopono is very good for that. Basically, in Kuila's style of Ho'oponopono, there's three main things. There needs to be an understanding that there's something greater than yourself. So a belief in whether it's God or Io or even just your higher, you know, higher intuition. But there needs to be that belief that there's something greater than yourself. The second is that all the people involved in the whatever conflict it is are willing to meet. And then the third is that all the people involved are willing to accept whatever the outcome of the Ho'oponopono would be. So whether it's a reconciliation or if you need to oki and go your separate ways. And always within the Ho'oponopono, you know, there's that understanding that whatever is said is, you know, not to be repeated outside of the circle. So in many ways, you know, that type of Ho'oponopono is very good, but it's very revealing. You know, a lot of intimate stuff comes out, and you know, I've seen it in numerous times doing with Kuila. And that tends to be a little bit of the hard part of doing traditional Ho'oponopono, is that all your kind of your dirty laundry gets aired. But that's the only way to kind of peel the onion layers and get everything back to whatever the core belief, you know, the core reason why there is that conflict. And a lot of times it's something very minor. Oh, she said I was ugly when I was 7 years old, you know, something to that effect. But yeah, a lot of times it goes back to something very trivial like that. But I guess, you know, it left a deep enough scar that later on in life it's still, the hurt's still there. But yeah, so Ho'oponopono like that is very good. We also did Ho'oponopono of I, so that's like with just a single person. And it's the same process, you know. You would be talking to me if I was the haku, and we would be going back and forth and peeling back the different layers until you get to that spot where you have that, oh yeah, you know, that's my aha moment, where that's my connection, and you know, that's what I needed to come to a realization of. But again, a lot of times very difficult, because it's so revealing and it leaves you so vulnerable, which is, you know, it's interesting. So I've also had the privilege of studying with Kanoa Switzer, Ho'omana Maiola, and they do a different style of Ho'oponopono. It's one based off the teachings of Auntie Morna Simeona. And it's a lot simpler. And the cool thing is that, you know, your pilikia stays with you. I don't need to know it. You know it, and that's the important thing. So in this style of Ho'oponopono, it's more of an internal blessing, so to speak. So, you know, if say Mandy and I had a problem and everybody knows about it and we know about it, and we're going at each other and we're fueling that conflict, it rises to a pinnacle where we don't want to talk to each other anymore, and you know that's the time for Ho'oponopono. But I don't want to be in the same room as her, and she doesn't want to see me. So how can you do a Ho'oponopono if there's not that? But with Auntie Morna style, it's more of it's an internal thing. So, you know, along with the Ho'oponopono comes the blessing. So we want, because Ho'oponopono is forgiveness, right? So when we say forgiveness, we don't want to have like that fake forgiveness where if one day I did see Mandy in the road, well, oh, hi Mandy, and then I turn around and be like, oh, that woman infuriates me. But it's more, I really want to have that genuine forgiveness, and just exude that love and light to her. So in Ho'omana Maiola style, it's more of you do a cleansing first. So you break down all the layers, so anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, things like that. And you get back to the core of that, and you release all of those emotions so that the only thing coming out of you now is love and light. So even though Mandy might still resent me, she's sending me all this negative stuff, but the only thing coming from me now is love and light, love and light. There's no conflict. It kind of subsides a little to the point where maybe one day Mandy might realize, what am I mad at Dave about? There's, we used to be mad, but it's kind of silly, and then that's when the reconciliation happens, or it doesn't, but that's the idea of it. So it's more of an internal cleansing yourself to help cleanse other people. I think in Zero Limits, like Dr. Haleakala, I think, yeah, same thing when he did his experiment with the prisoners, right? He was doing a mantra within himself to heal the people in the prison. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a idea of what Ho'oponopono is. And there's certain things that we can do to strengthen ourselves. With Kuila, the emphasis was always on ha. It's always on your breath. So he taught us, my friend Daryl and I and a few other students of his, he just called it ha breathing. But basically what it is, it's not to be confused with ha breath, which is like a lomi kind of technique. But ha breathing is just an exercise we do to keep ourselves kind of grounded. It's basically you exhale all your breath, and then it's an inhale of 7 counts, a hold of 7 counts, and then an exhale of 7 counts, and then you hold the no breath for 7 counts, and you do that 7 times. The cycle is 7. I'm bad haumana. I don't remember exactly why the significance of 7, but I think it's some kind of special spiritual thing. But yeah, it's 7 counts, and eventually, you want to get it to where it becomes more of a meditative thing. So you're not, and the in breath, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you want to get it to a point where you can just kind of feel the rhythm within yourself. So because you don't want to be counting, because that kind of, the counting also is clouding your mind. So yeah, and Kuile said he met a deep diver in Tahiti that whole cycle, I think Kuile said, took close to like 45 minutes. So but granted, those guys can hold their breath for 5 minutes, so it's a little different. But yeah, we all don't need to get to that level, but but to do that, it did create a lot of special things happen. He told us many stories of where just practicing that breathing would help get you kind of into that right frame of mind. Yeah, and another way, little shortcut that Kanoa taught, it's called hakalau. And what hakalau is, it's peripheral vision. So, Kanoa would say, like, to get into that state, I think it's theta brave wavelengths, and you need to have like that full vision. So the practice would be to hold your hands up to the side, wiggle your fingers around, and while looking forward at something on the wall, you should be able to see your fingers moving. And in that expanded vision and awareness, it almost instantly puts you into that zone, that meditative zone that you try to be in all the time. But yeah, that's just a quick shortcut. It does work. I don't know if you should do it while you're driving and everything, but it does help. Kanoa did teach a very specific and very good technique for dealing with that, because well, you see, like, how to explain, if somebody is in a problem, they're surrounded by the problem, they're vibrating at a lower vibration, and if you're up here vibrating at this vibration and you want to help your friend, if there's a direct cord connecting your heart to their heart, as much good energy as you're sending down to them, the same amount of bad stuff is coming back up to you, and that could bring your vibration down, and then you both be stuck in a problem and not knowing the solution or how to get out of it. So with aqua cords, you always want to have that connection to your friends, to your family, and Kanoa would always say, like, the most strongest one is usually like mother and child, or father and child, but parent to their child, because you never want your child to be without your support and love. But he said in the long run you do a little bit of harm, because your child becomes so dependent on your energy that they don't know how to develop their own. So with the changing of the aqua cord connections, you're not losing your connection to anything, you're just redefining the way that you connect to things. So instead of going heart to heart, we teach that you do more like a link, so like a chain link. So your aqua cord comes out from your heart in a big circle, and it comes back to your heart. So your energy is doing this, kind of just circulating amongst yourself. And then anybody else's energy that you want to be connected to, say your mom or your son or your friend, you imagine their aqua cord coming out of their heart, looping through yours, and then going right back to them. So you'll always be connected. It's just that their energy stays with them and yours stays with yours. So you'll always be able to, like I was telling Mandy earlier, we've all experienced where, a friend that's popped into our head and we're like, oh, I wonder how they're doing, and you make the call and you find out, oh yeah, they're not doing so well, they're having a bad day, or something terrible has happened. And you always want to be able to make that call to your friends. You just don't want to be sucked down into that lower vibration. And by doing that aqua cord kind of different aqua cord connections really helps with that. And it's aqua cord, it's a kind of a simple thing, but there is a technique you can do to kind of cut off all those aqua cords and then reattach it. But yeah, it's very, very simple. So aqua cord, so the technique would be what Kanoa teaches is, so you got to make sure that you're grounded. So if I were doing a aqua cord blessing on you, Mandy, I would first ground your energy to the area, and then that way you're stable. And then what I would have you do is we're gonna put a ring of light that comes down your body here like this. So as it's going over your body, it's kind of cutting all the different aqua cords that are on you. And Kanoa always jokes, but he's very thorough. So instead of just going down and up, he would say, you need to flip the ring on the bottom because there might be cords attached to the bottom of your feet. So you flip that ring and then you come back up, and then then you flip it at the top again in case there's a ring up there. But and sometimes that usually is enough. And then from that kind of blessing, you already feel a lightness come over you. Just now visualizing it on myself, you could feel a lightness. But sometimes it's not enough. If it's really embedded, then you would need some help to pull it out, so that it would be like myself or whoever it is doing your blessing for you, actually assisting you on kind of getting that aqua cord to come out, and then refilling it's like pulling a plant out of the ground. You pull it out by the roots and there's a hole left. So you need to kind of refill that with love and light. So the cutting part is, it's like that circle of energy is actually, I mean, you can imagine it as like a guillotine, kind of just cutting everything. So you're cutting all the cords that connected anywhere amongst your body. And then from there, after that's done, then you go ahead and the people that you do want to have connection with, and you go ahead in your head and you reattach. The funny thing about that is though, is like in the Ho'oponopono process though, sorry, I'm kind of going back, but in the Ho'oponopono process, in Kanoa's way, with the process is, you gotta imagine a stage where you invite all the different people that you need to Ho'oponopono with onto that stage, including yourself and including Io, including Creator. But in that Ho'oponopono process, you need to connect heart to heart. There needs to be like that direct, I guess, kind of connection between energies. And then after you say, you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, the whole, whatever it is you say. I mean, it doesn't need to be Auntie Morna's mantra, but, whatever you wanted to say to that person, then you disconnect the aqua cord again and let them go off on their own. And if you want to reconnect, you reconnect the way that you were taught with the link itself, heart to heart. But yeah, I mean, that would be part of that whole Ho'oponopono process. My friend Dara and I, Dara was a student of Kuila's also, but we do blessings for every occasion. So whether it's groundbreaking for businesses, groundbreaking, building, or just like a clearing, say if you're moving, or house blessing, yeah, any kind of blessing you would need to do, we can do that. Whether wedding, whatever, any type of blessings. Yeah, Kuila has trained us to do all of those types of blessings. Yeah, there's a lot to say to Kuila. Mostly just mahalo for sharing his mana'o, his ike, his ohana with us. Meeting him has definitely changed the trajectory of my life, so I don't think words can express, but but and I say mahalo in the sense that Kuila taught that, we all in Hawaii, we say mahalo all the time, thank you, but he always said that mahalo is more than just thank you. It's, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life, and thank you for choosing to be a part of mine. And if you think that meaning, there's so much more significance to say mahalo, then people wouldn't probably use it so loosely. But yeah, mahalo definitely to Kuila and his ohana for allowing us to share in their lineage, in their traditions, and hopefully, yeah, we can carry it on in some way. Yeah, even though he's not here physically, he'll always be, guiding us the right side of Io. Yeah. Thank you. Aloha.